When we picture a millionaire, the assumption is often a trust fund, an Ivy League degree, or a stroke of lottery-level luck. Media and pop culture constantly reinforce this idea, showcasing famous tech founders as the baseline standard for what it means to be successful. When we internalize the idea that wealth is reserved for the lucky or the well-born, we stop looking at our own potential. This shifts the focus from personal habits to systemic blame, often leading to a sense of defeat that makes financial discipline feel pointless. But a survey of 10,000 American millionaires, the largest study of its kind ever conducted, offers a different set of facts. This chart breaks down the actual origins of their wealth. 79% of these millionaires received zero inheritance, none. In fact, only 3% received an inheritance of $1 million or more. The flashy individuals we see on social media every day are highly visible, but they are often just high-income consumers. The actual millionaires are hiding in plain sight. Building $1 million net worth does not require a C-suite title or an elite executive salary. The data shows that 1/3 of everyday millionaires never earned six figures in any single working year of their entire careers. This chart contrasts the jobs we expect millionaires to have with the actual data. High-status roles like doctors and CEOs don't even make the top 5. Instead, the list is led by engineers, accountants, and teachers. A high income is not the same thing as high wealth. True wealth is determined by how you manage your cash flow, not just how much you earn at the top of your career. To reach the $1 million mark on a middle-class salary, these individuals utilize defensive cash flow management. 94% of them consistently live on less than they make. Their habits are rigid and unglamorous. They rely on written grocery lists and spend under $200 a month at restaurants. 93% of them use coupons. They actively avoid luxury vehicle upgrades and stay focused on their budgets rather than trying to keep up with their neighbors. Their primary wealth-building tool is consistency. They spend decades contributing to 401ks and broad market index funds, strictly avoiding speculative single-stock bets. Everyday wealth is rarely a stroke of luck or a sudden windfall. It is the result of decades of disciplined, repetitive, and highly controlled financial choices. If millionaires are self-made, why do reports on the billionaire class show that inheritance is actually on the rise? This discrepancy is explained by a statistical fallacy known as a category error. Billionaire wealth, the top 0.001%, is a structurally distinct tier. It is driven by dynastic transfers, massive equity holdings, and systemic advantages that most people will never access. On the left side of this model, we see how billionaires accumulate wealth. For them, inheritance and equity are the primary drivers. On the right side, we have the everyday millionaire. Their wealth comes from household savings and compound interest. Applying the rules of billionaires to the millionaire next door is a category error. Recognizing this distinction is important. The economic system can be unequal at the absolute top, while still allowing for meritocratic wealth building in the middle. Financial researchers refer to people with high incomes but zero net worth as under-accumulators of wealth. They possess the look of success but lack the actual assets. Believing that millionaires only exist through inheritance is statistically incorrect, and it creates a mindset that can derail your own financial future. If you assume the system is entirely rigged, you lose your sense of agency. It becomes easy to recklessly overspend today because you've convinced yourself that saving for tomorrow is pointless. Even in the face of immense barriers, figures like Madam C.J. Walker proved that personal agency can drive an ascent from poverty to billionaire status. Building wealth is slow and requires a level of personal discipline that most people find unappealing, but the math shows it is attainable for the average person. True financial independence begins when you reject the flashy illusion of the elite and focus on the quiet, spreadsheet-driven power of the invisible millionaire.